Welcome to the second part of our report on the 11th edition of the East African Safari Classic Rally. One of the most beautiful and intense long-distance events on the planet.
Okay, slow it down. We've got blind bumps. Whoa! Okay, keep it straight.
We've already had 3 grueling days in very difficult conditions, very wet conditions, and as you can see, plenty of mud. Others made some small mistakes, but fortunately after this one, Grimes could still continue. In third position after 3 days, Baldiv Chugga with his Porsche 911, some 12 minutes behind the leader, and second is Jeff Bell with a Datsun 240Z, and leading the overall rankings is Amos at the wheel of his Porsche 911. 6 days to go in the East African Safari Classic Rally. On day 4, 185 kilometres against the clock, and the longest stage is almost 100 kilometres in length. The local population is always interested in this event. Rajesh Mani, who enters the top 10 at the end of day number 4 in the classic Ford Escort.
Normally we're not quite as high up as we currently are, so it's a nice feeling, and I get to finish in daylight, which is a bonus now.
And the Greek driver living in Belgium, Jordan Serdaridis, and has Gregoire Munster as his co-driver.
It's completely different than what I'm used to. You don't really read pace note, but more road book and the danger that are coming. But not everything is in it, so you have to keep focused, try to look very far ahead, and try to see if there are other danger that's just trying to help the driver not to get caught by something. And I would say it's another experience, but a fun experience for sure.
Serdaridis and Munster in the top 5 at the end of day number 4. Chris Rosenberger is in 4th position after a difficult start to the rally. And in 3rd, it's Emil Bretmeier and Alexis Thomas with their beautiful Jägermeister Porsche.
I love it. The roads are amazing, and sometimes it's rough, but sometimes you can really go flat out and have a big corner, big slide, so it's a lot of fun.
Baldiv Chugga was trying to make up for lost time on day 4, but he lost some more time, and this was one of the reasons why. Getting caught out in a very heavy rainstorm.
We've got this horrific rainstorm. I think that caught out car number 3, 4 onwards. That was crazy. A good 2-3 minutes lost there easily. You couldn't see 10 meters ahead. First stage of the day we were fine. I think we were 3rd fastest. It wasn't too bad. So our slow time in the last stage was actually due to a gearbox issue. But it's okay. We're still running. The leader is running away. He's miles ahead.
And the leaders of the event are Eugenio Amos and Paolo Cecchi, some 19 minutes ahead.
Well, I have to say that myself and Paolo, coming from cross-country, this is what we do, going at sight, and I think we have a good capability in reading the terrain. So that allows us to stay out of trouble, and you know, when there's a caution which is not marked on the road book, and we have a lot, I'm sorry, but it's true, we managed to see it before, and we slow down a bit.
So we're halfway through the rally after leg number 4. Amos is out in front for the Italians. It's a brace of Porsches in the top 7. Datsun lying in 8th. And then we got a Ford, lowly 4th in 9th position. Another Datsun in 10th overall. So halfway through the rally, it's Amos and Cecchi are leading with some 19 minutes in hand from Chugga and Dow. Bretmeier and Thomas are in 3rd. But after these first 4 grueling days, it's time for the rest day. But no peace for the wicked. The driver and co-driver are relaxing and enjoying themselves by the pool. The rest of the crew have to work hard the mechanics working hard to keep the machinery working. And for Richard Tuthill, who's brought a whole load of Porsches to Africa, has his work cut out.
For your crews who are doing the service, it's not so easy, huh?
They're the heroes here. The rest of us are just playing at it. So don't forget they have to service all day, all night in tricky conditions on the side of the road. Then they have to navigate over the rough roads. So they're doing everything that everyone else is doing plus more. And we'll share those photos of an incident that happened yesterday, which let's say was a little driving error to take the wrong path down a really wet section. But the photos are quite dramatic, and yeah, they recovered themselves as you'd expect, but they're out there now. 6 hours of service. They are complete heroes, and they're the main story of the event, in my opinion.
And I'm sure you'd second Richard's view as well. Terrific stuff.
But we keep coming back.
And that's the spirit of this event. And after a well-deserved rest day, it's time for day number 6, almost 180 kilometres against the clock. 3 special stages on the 6th day of this event. The longest stage of the day today is just 76 kilometres in length. The conditions are once again very wet. In the second stage of the day, the competitors were sometimes confronted with conditions like these. When rivers suddenly grew to monsters of water, the organisers wisely decided to cancel the middle stage of the day.
Within a few minutes, the river went from like 10 centimeters to a meter, so a bit scary. Yeah.
And these were the consequences, but some had some very special tactics to cope with this kind of terrain.
Our strategy was that if Rosenberger could pass, we could have passed too. And as we didn't see him, we went straight on, flat out, and we passed the river. Problem is that he was lost before, so we didn't knew that he didn't pass before us.
Beautiful scenery, but tricky driving conditions after all that rain. The car you see parked just at the side of the stage there is called the mud car. Despite the Porsches drifting all over the place, the mud car's there to retrieve the vehicles that get stuck in the mud. And in this case, with our leader of the event, Amos, he gets stuck. Gets pulled out by the mud car, but then a few hundred meters further down the stage, he gets stuck one more time again.
Close to major drama. We got stuck in the muck twice, and they had to tow us out with service cars 2 times. And despite that, we managed to survive.
Yes.
And for Chris Rosenberger, he was also hit by bad luck as well, dropping down 2 places.
Well, we had quite a big hit after the last stage today, after 5 kilometers. On the left-hand side, we had a big hit, and it bent the front wheel and took the fender off and everything. So we had to go 70 kilometers with a really bent car, and there was a mud hole, so it was really, really tricky. But we are here. We lost about 10 minutes, but we lost a few places, but we're still in the rally, so we'll fight on.
Rosenberger is 6th overall now. Serdaridis, after his mud bath, is up to 4th place.
In the last stage, we had some issues with the mud, but okay, nothing special. So we went out of the stage. But after that, we lost some oil, and the engine stopped during the road section. So I think it will be an issue.
But so the riders could continue. Others had some more difficulties to get going again. And the mud cars had a lot of work to do, as you can see from this footage. It's all part of the East African Safari Classic. This is Andrew Siddle. He's in 8th place overall, and the highest placed Datsuns at the moment. 6 stages down in Africa. Amos is out in front, leading Chugga by over 90 minutes at this stage. There's Brett Meyer, Serdaridis and Grimes. Another day in Africa brings more challenges and more threats of rain. Day number 7 looks like this. Another 3 stages, the longest of the day just over 63 kilometres in length, a total of 171 k's on the road. And tough luck for Jordan Soteridis and Gregoire Munster. They were 4th overall, but then they lost a lot of time when the left rear wheel came loose. And as you can see, it was impossible for them to continue, shearing off the studs on the car. Day 7 over for them prematurely. The nuts came loose and the wheel just flew over the car. It was very impressive, but these things happen. We didn't touch anything, so we don't really know how it happened. You remain pretty calm under it, said Soteridis. Troubles for Amos as well, who almost lost half of his lead now, and it's down to just 11 minutes.
You some problems in the second stage. What happened?
Yeah, we had from kilometer 3 the gearbox stuck in second gear, so we could only reach 75 kilometers per hour, 80 in few bits, but we also had to take care of the heating of the engine, because second gear at 7,000 RPM for 60 kilometer, it's not ideal for the car.
A fantastic day for Baldev Chugga, making up half of his deficit. Behind him, Emil Bretmeer is attacking hard in the Jägermeister Porsche.
The first stage was really tricky for us. The beginning of the stage was just incredible, really fast, a good rhythm. But when you arrive across the river, we just got too hard and the engine was shut down, impossible to restart. So we put a lot of time to restart the engine. But when we go back, the hood just go off the car. So we have to stop back and go back. But finally we success to end the stage.
Chris Rosenberger and Nicola Belchier gain a couple more positions again. They're back up to 4th now, with only 2 days to go in Africa. So a podium is still among the possibilities here for them.
For me, it's the first time to see this like this, because I never needed a mud car. Thankfully, I did not need one yet here as well. We did not get stuck in the mud holes. We could power through, but we had to wait. There was one guy in front of us. He was in the mud hole being towed out. So we lost like 2 minutes there, but we did not get stuck to it yet, so we're happy.
We're heading towards the final part of the East African Safari Classic Rally. Join us after the break to see how it concludes. Welcome back to Africa, welcome back to Kenya, and welcome back to the 2023 edition of the East African Safari Classic Rally. It's the 11th edition of the rally and we're just over 2 days away from the end of the event. But let's just have a look and see how some of the drivers use different techniques to get through the mud. There's the straight-on technique applied here by Amos, just to keep the memento going, and then there's a local specialist, Baldev Chugga, just a bit to the right to avoid the biggest of water. But then there's also room for improvisation as well. Here, Emil Bretmeer and Alexei Thomas, completely sideways but keep going through the grass to avoid everything altogether. But they tried to keep the car rolling for as long as possible. All in all, the key to getting through the thick mud is just keeping the pedal to the metal, the right foot down. It's all about improvisation. Look at Chris Rosenberger, he follows exactly the same track as Bretmeer, ploughing it deep into the bush. Causes some issues for our cameraman, but never mind that. Great move by Rosenberger and Bretmeer. Philip Caldori is up to 6th place.
I'm attacking for the podium, but but I need people in front of me to have bad days like I had bad days at the beginning of the rally. I think we can get into the top 5 if we have a clean run from here. Chris Rosenberger and I will be very close to each other, I think, in the end.
They're only 5 minutes apart. This is the French duo of Perch and Sanier. and they're a bit unlucky in the mud. We arrived too quickly and we slid through the ruts too far. We caught the rear wheel and got stuck in a rut. It was impossible to get out. We tried 2 or 3 times to get out with momentum, so then we needed to find some people. There was no one except some photographers who unfortunately had no way to pull us out. But luckily after the 3rd car we saw not at all a rally car but people passing by, and so we were able to finally get pulled out. But they had no experience, so they got stuck as well. Finally it was my nephew, my co-driver, who took the wheel of the car, who pulled it out. We got out. Unfortunately we damaged the car a bit because it was still stuck in the mud, but we were able to keep going. We lost 15 minutes. It was a nice special stage and we had a lot of fun. Here's Ian Duncan. He's in 9th position.
We got stuck in the mud hole on the first stage. Wasn't the most intelligent trick we did, and then kept getting a lot of punctures, a couple of rocks, and then on the high speed roads they were disintegrating. So I don't know whether we've solved a problem or whether road conditions have changed. So but yeah, otherwise it's been quite good recently.
This is the standings with 2 days to go. Amos is leading, just under 11 minutes over Balder Chugger, Emil Bretmeier and Chris Rosenberger, and Bonamy Grimes. And then it's time for the drivers and co-drivers to reflect on the adventure that has happened in the last 7 days and look forward to the final 2 days and difficult weather conditions.
And first car, 5 a.m.
And more rain has caused some issues for the organisers, but they were able to solve it. The 3 stages on day 8 turn into 2 stages, which is the longest, is 138 kilometres of one stage.
After hearing reports from the group ranch owners, they obviously advised us not to come because the water levels were rising tremendously. So with that information in hand, we put a plan together by midday yesterday to make a new route, a brand new route, and try and amalgamate tracks and traces and road books that we had already had. And yes, we at least got 2 good long stages, and the rally keeps going. In my history with this rally, this has definitely been the wettest, the roughest, and obviously also the hardest to have put together.
So the penultimate day of the East African Safari Classic Rally may be the most difficult one for all the competitors. And look what happened to Amos here. Just avoids a tree and he comes to one of the infamous corners of the stage, and it cost him a lot of time. And it's not easy to get the Porsche going again in these kind of conditions. The seconds tick away and minutes are lost, and Amos sees his lead diminish even further on the penultimate day, also because he makes another mistake. And he's stuck in the mud again. So that opens up the opportunity for Balder Chugger. The Kenyan driver also has a difficult corner to take.
Admittedly, the most challenging stage I've done in my entire rallying career. From mud to rocks to ditches to traffic to oncoming rally cars to overtaking rally cars overtaking me, then overtaking them again. It was quite entertaining but very, very stressful 135 kilometers.
And the orange Porsche of Bretmeier now has a yellow hood. And is that yellow hood a lucky one?
It was the most difficult day of the rally. The first stage was really long, 130 kilometers, and really, really, really tough for the navigator and for me too. It was the most demanding stage of the rally. Really hard road, a lot of mud, a lot of traps, and 1 hour 50 in the stage to drive. It's really, really hard.
Behind Bretmeier and Thomas Rosenberger and Nicola Bleccia, they're back in 4th position.
Navigation was really difficult. It was on a plantation field, and it was a zigzag back and forth, and the roadworks wasn't 100%, so it was really difficult. A lot of people got lost. We got out fine, but we also had a few issues, and it was very difficult.
Some mud issues for Ian Duncan as well, but he gains 3 positions in the longest stage and is now in the 6th position overall, with the Irish duo piloted by Josh McElrain. The early leaders of the rally take a nice 5th quickest time in the stage. Issues though for Söderridis and Munster, they drop out. Push and Sunyer now up to 7th place. It was a fantastic day, we enjoyed ourselves. It was a bit worrisome at times. For sometimes we got lost and then we turned back and we had oncoming cars and then we left in the right direction and we even went a bit too fast in the puddle, so we went about 200 meters in reverse to be able to find a place to turn around again. It was very fun, but it didn't go swimmingly well for everybody, as you can see. Some people really got stuck in the Kenyan mud. And it was really a day to remember, the penultimate day of the rally. And this is the top 3. With 3 stages to go, Emil Bretmeyer and Alexis Thomas are in 3rd, just under 18 minutes from the leader. And 6 minutes and 25 seconds behind is Baldav Chugga in 2nd place overall. But it's Amos out in front. The Porsche is dominating the top 5. We've got a Datsun in 6th and 8th position respectively. And still hanging on in 10th position, it's Ian Dobson in the very nice Escort. The final day of this 9-day monster in Africa, the East African Safari Classic, concludes with 3 stages on the last day, the longest stage just being over 86 kilometers in length. Total of 185.72 k's left to go. And anything still can happen. Unfortunately for Emil Bretmeyer, unfortunately a mechanical issue in stage 1 of the day, and he had to retire.
Got to keep a bit of momentum.
Yeah. Well, they've gone up there, but...
Oh, who is it?
Philip.
But look at the conditions in the very last stage of the rally. Heavy rain. Bretmeyer had to abandon, meaning that people can still gain places on the final day. Patrice and Julian finish 6th with their Porsche after an excellent second half to the rally. A great penultimate day meant that Ian Duncan gained some more places, and eventually he would finish 5th as the first of the Datsun drivers. Bonamy Grimes and Martin Rowe might have had an issue early on in the rally, but they still finished in 4th place overall. A great performance, and it's a podium finish for Chris Rosenberger. And they were just outside the top 30 at the beginning of the rally, and a great comeback. Baldiv Chugga and Gareth Day did everything that they could to close the gap with the leaders, and it was Amos who took the win in this 11th edition of the East African Safari Classic Rally. An edition to remember, one of the hardest ever. It was great for the Italian duo, big reasons to celebrate. Not really sure that the greenkeeper will appreciate that, but it's well deserved. And of course, everybody is happy to finish this event. Time to congratulate and celebrate a well-deserved hug, a great finish to a great event. Smiles all round, and a great win for Amos and Chechi.
It's been a hell of a ride. Even last day it was very tricky. Last stage we said, okay, now it's 40k, we take it easy, we go to the bar, have a couple of beers. No, it was pouring like crazy. We had to go like in 2nd gear, 3rd gear the whole time.
Heavy rain.
Heavy rain, we couldn't see anything, but we somehow managed to survive even today.
Every single stage was special, had its own challenges, and I think the whole 9 days of rallying was special. not a single particular day or stage, but the whole thing combined was absolutely fantastic.
We started the first stage in 34th position and we managed on the podium. So for us it was a fantastic comeback. So that's almost more fun than just winning from the first day, you know.
Kenya's been beautiful. I mean, driving through all these wonderful roads and seeing the countryside and the wildlife has been phenomenal for me. And just the spirit of all the drivers and being able to drive a car like you stole it. It's brilliant, flat out.
Chunga finishes in second from Rosenberger, Grimes and Ian Duncan in fifth, and a very international finishing field. And now it's time to celebrate. It was a fantastic 2023 edition of the East African Safari Classic Rally, the 11th running of this event. Nine days of grueling African action, all done and dusted. But the East African Safari Classic Rally will return in 2025, when we'll do it all over again. But from all of us at the programme, thank you for watching, and we'll see you very soon.